He was called a scientific experiment. He was the only one who could make the unprecedented leap from the shining heights of pro wrestling to the depths of the most brutal sport on earth.
Midway point in round 2. Heavyweight title. And he gets survived. He's a short little shot. And it's all over.
Winning titles and worldwide recognition in both disciplines. He set pay-per-view records and records in the brutal art of fighting. His name is Brock Lesnar, and today we will look back at his journey in MMA.
In the mixed martial arts world, it is all over! It is all over! Wow! Lesnar!
Brock Lesnar is one of the most controversial characters in the history of mixed martial arts. Gifted with great strength since childhood, the American managed to prove himself in a variety of sports. From collegiate wrestling, where he became a 2000 NCAA heavyweight champion and graduated with a 106-5 record.
And Brock Lesnar from Minnesota is your heavyweight champion in the year 2000.
To American football.
There's Brock Lesnar in there for what will be his first official tackle in the National Football League.
He found success in every field, but his main brainchild was pro wrestling. In a relatively short period of time, Brock became one of the most popular wrestlers in the world. But this was not enough for him. Lesnar wanted to feel himself in a real fight. In 2007, he suddenly left the stage fights and went to MMA, specifically to Japan, the K1 promotion.
Brock Lesnar!
There, the star from the States was received with open arms and gave him a local fighter with a negative record, Min-Soo Kim. Not possessing any special skills in striking, the giant immediately turned to his wrestling and rushed for a transition from the first few seconds. Dropping the Korean and pinning him to the floor, the 286-pound Brock got out to mount and started punching. Lesnar's ground and pound looked too brutal, and the referee, deciding not to test Min-Soo Kim's mettle, stopped the fight.
Brock Lesnar!
A huge and empathetic fighter with a massive fan base was needed by absolutely everyone. Many promotions started hunting for Brock, but only one managed to win. In 2008, the UFC announced the signing of the former wrestler. Seeing a lot of potential in the WWE star, they didn't want to trifle with him, and that's why they immediately gave the Iron Top of those years, the master of submissions Frank Mir, who only a couple of years ago returned after a terrible car accident.
Good luck. Brock Lesnar!
Lesnar again aggressively took his opponent down and immediately began tamping the jiu-jitsu fighter to the floor.
Working towards the sweep of Lesnar. The big question is, he's taking some punches here.
But in the heat of the fight, landed punches to the back of the head, for which he lost a point. The sanction was no barrier to the wrestler, and he once again registered a takedown, continuing to work Mir over with punches. But Frank wasn't born yesterday. He waited for his moment and curled around his opponent's leg like a python.
It's going to be very difficult for him to pass the guard of Frank Mir. It's a very unusual guard. He's going for a footlock.
The leg lock was perfectly executed, and the debutant was forced to give up. Despite the poor start, Lesnar's fee for the fight was fabulous, especially by the standards of the 2010s and measured in the six figures. After digesting his poor start, Brock was soon given a second fight. He was challenged by the famous veteran Heath Herring, who had competed in Pride and made a name for himself long before moving to the major American league.
There's a rear naked choke, and he taps out! And Heath Herring has recorded the victory via rear naked choke!
Brock opened the fight with a knockdown right cross, followed by a guillotine attempt. After holding Heath, the giant performed a translation and found himself behind his opponent's back. Due to his inability to work in the turtle position, Lesnar could not finish Herring and only occasionally delivered some shots.
But not, there's the knee to the bodies do. First triple XL.
while the veteran himself simply could not get out from under the huge Lesnar.
Big knees. He's turning on now. Big knees to the body.
In the third round, Brock managed to stretch the crazy Texas horse in the mount a couple times, but he couldn't capitalize there either.
Guys don't like to finish with submissions. Tito Ortiz, and big knees to the body are coming. Here they go. Herring teeing off. He caught him a couple of times, and Brock immediately takes him down to take him down.
In the end, the fight came down to a decision in favor of the UFC newcomer. Brock's record in MMA was only 2-1, but it was absolutely no indication of his popularity and importance to the league. Fans loved the hell out of watching this big, crazy wrestling guy do whatever he wanted to professional MMA fighters. It was the popularity and revenue Lesnar was bringing in that prompted management to give him a fight with the champion. At the time, the belt was held by the legendary Randy Couture, who had defeated Tim Sylvia to become the king of the heavyweight division again at the age of 43, and later defended the title against Gabriel Gonzaga. Despite all the merits, Captain America came into the fight as a huge underdog, but still managed to please his fans by issuing a close first round. The blonde Titan was much stronger than Randy, but was inferior in technique, which made him unable to build on his success in the fight. Already in the second 5 minutes, both fighters greedily grabbed air with their mouths and began to exchange in the stand-up. Nothing looked like trouble, but then Lesnar landed a right cross, and the champion went down. The finish looked monstrous, but Mario Yamasaki, who was refereeing the fight, was true to himself and only stopped the beating at the very end. So with 4 professional fights under his belt, Brock became the new UFC champion. Wrestling fans' most fantastic dream came true, and their idol got the UFC heavyweight title. Everyone was thrilled with the situation, including the management, who decided to make the most out of the current situation by organizing a rematch between Brock and Mir, who had made only one appearance during that time, and came out the winner.
You know, after the Peyton Apollo loss, again!
As in the first time, Brock easily took the master of submissions down.
Here looks very calm and collected here. And Brock immediately goes for the takedown,
where he lay down in a half-guard position and did not move anywhere else. Frank took the opponent's leg in the lock, but because of the weight difference, he could not move under the other limb of Lesnar and conduct the submission.
He's protecting his face with his hand, but he's bleeding, Mike.
And the wrestler himself calmly positioned himself on top and pounded Mir.
Now he goes to the body and into the face.
By the second segment, it appeared that the challenger was even more tired than the champion.
Knee by Frank, and they go to the ground.
After exchanging punches in the stand-up, Brock easily held a throw, but this time he was able to find the right angle to attack and brutally finished Frank with punches.
Up against the fence, big trouble. That's it. Trying to finish it. That's it. It's there, and it is all over. He's out.
Brock Lesnar is the undisputed UFC heavyweight champion.
At the same moment as Brock's title defense, another important event was taking place in the MMA world. Fedor Emelianenko became a free agent, and Dana White threw all his resources to sign the Pride legend. Just imagine this fight. Lesnar versus Emelianenko. It could have been one of the highest grossing fights in mixed martial arts history, long before Khabib and Conor. But the eloquent Americans failed to sway Fedor to his side, and Brock was soon matched with another opponent. Undefeated Shane Carwin, who possessed the truly rare achievement of winning all his fights in the first round, got his title shot.
If he gets more... Oh! Down goes Wellish, and it is all over!
Stand up, and he's getting...
In his last performance, the Engineer knocked out former challenger Frank Mir. Shane was the most feared heavyweight in those years, and he proved it by dropping the champion already in the first round. With a series of shots, the challenger induced a knockdown and then unleashed the full power of his huge fists on Lesnar.
And the big question is here, how much has Brock Lesnar trained off of his back?
Brock missed a ton of punches in the 3 minutes of the fight, but by some miracle he survived and waited for the second round.
Oh, he is just teeing off here. His wife is behind us and she's not watching. She's covering her...
Where it became clear that Carwin's cardio was at full blast and he was no longer dangerous.
Slowed again.
There's the big shot.
There it is.
He's got him on his back.
Easily organizing the transfer, Brock threw a rather loose triangle with his arms, but then shifted correctly and squeezed the last oxygen out of his opponent.
It is all over! It is all over! Wow! Lesnar!
Thus, the Brock Lesnar made one of the most famous comebacks in the sport and defended his belt for the second time. By defeating Carwin, Brock proved to all his haters that he's not just a big guy with a wrestling background, he's a full-fledged champion with a true warrior's heart. With this victory, the Lesnar's fan base grew, and everyone was expecting another roof-raising performance from him. However, a candidate to put on a colorful fight soon appeared, and it was a young Cain Velasquez with a record of 9-0. The bearded Lesnar looked intimidating and immediately attacked the Mexican, looking to snatch victory in the first round.
Brock on the attack! Flying knee from Lesnar!
Yes, Brock took Cain down, but he easily got up and, not allowing his opponent to repeat his success, went on the attack himself.
Brock swinging. Velasquez.
Young Velasquez is arguably the strongest heavyweight of the modern era. His pressure was so incredible that he soon knocked the former wrestler down twice.
Huge knee! He's huge knee to the body! Lesnar's in big trouble!
And pounded him into the canvas until Herb Dean stopped the fight.
It's rocked again! 15 seconds! That's it! It is all over! Cain Velasquez! A new UFC!
The first defeat in several years brought Brock a lot of woes. In addition to losing his champion status, the American faced a hell of a lot of health problems. The fighter suffered from severe diverticulitis, a fairly rare intestinal disease. Lesnar suffered from terrible pains after the fight with Mir, but then he was able to get back on his feet. But now he was nowhere without surgery. After undergoing surgery, Lesnar rested, and after a year and a bit, returned to the octagon, where his stallion was already waiting for him.
Strikeforce heavyweight champion, Dream heavyweight champion, and K1 Grand Prix champion, Alistair Overeem!
Locked and loaded, Alistair Overeem was eager to fight the former champion. It was obvious that Brock needed a takedown, but Alistair did not let him get close, and in the attack delivered terrible knees.
Again they connect. Big knee to the body.
As if taking advantage of Brock's injury on purpose, the Dutchman was destroying his opponent's body with his crowning blows.
Brock.
Lesnar was able to absorb a few of the deadly shots, but when the middle kick came into play, the former champion couldn't stand it, bent over in a knot, and settled back against the cage.
That's it! It's over!
Even Mario Yamasaki, who was refereeing the fight, didn't let Overeem work on his ground and pound for long and stopped the fight. After suffering his second loss in a row, Brock, not wanting to be crippled anymore, retired from the world of fighting and returned to his native wrestling, where he even took the championship belt. Earning a couple $1 million a year, Lesnar was enjoying life, But an enticing offer from an old friend, Dana White, to compete at UFC 200 was able to get the veteran back on track.
Can you see me now? Can you see me now?
What does that mean?
I think that means that Brock Lesnar is back.
The event was a big deal for the league and featured many of the promotion's stars, but coincidentally, it didn't turn out as expected. Nevertheless, Brock was given a potentially entertaining fight against Mark Hunt, who chopped Frank Mir in his last fight. The two big guys shared a tiny cage, but they didn't put on a particularly spectacular fight.
There's a single. He's got the leg. Chasing him down. He got a hold of him.
Lesnar tried to out-wrestle the almost inept Hunt and was successful half the time.
Hunt's starting to get up though. He's lifting him up and he's got him down.
Particularly striking was a powerful transfer in the final minutes of the first round.
And he gets it. He gets it.
Once on top, the American preferred to lay back, and Mark just couldn't get up. In this style, Brock took the first and third segments and legitimately won by decision, pulling off a hefty payday for his comeback. Brock Lesnar's stunning voyage from one sporting world to another, which hardly anyone will be able to repeat in the near future, has written golden letters in the history of MMA.
Frank Mir commented. Oh, big right hand.
Lesnar is trying to finish.
Lesnar
trying to finish it.
That's it.
It's there, and it is all over.
He's out.
Brock Lesnar is the undisputed UFC heavyweight champion.
Lesnar's incredible natural talent, discipline, and fighting spirit have answered the question: can pro wrestlers really fight?